Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Ruach HaKodesh. The one say apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. All right. Real quick, I just want to go in the spirit over something that I found online. Because recently, at the damn BET Awards, I know it's a joke. Brothers were kind of sending pictures about, this chick Erykah Badu. We know what she's into. We can see the energy. We can see the demon on her and these other damn women, who were pushed to the forefront. Her and there's so many of them to name. We really can't even get to all of them, but the Most High can see. But anyway, this is the new trend that Esau is pushing out, and this goes to show you that everything that just has the title black on it, that doesn't necessarily mean that so-called Negroes, so-called Jamaicans, West Indians, so-called Haitians, we don't necessarily, people who come from so-called black countries, Africa, we don't necessarily have control over what Esau pushes under our name. And this is something that leads to a lot of what's the word I want to use? Disingenuine moves within our kingdom. Negative influences, basically witchcraft. Right, and this is the chick Summer Walker, best new artist, which look at the way the dress. This new generation, man, they have no self-respect. They have no what's the word I want to use? Decorum. It's just complete filth. And this chick actually you can't see it, but she actually has face tattoos on her face.
Thank you so much. I didn't expect this.
Neck tattoos
thank you,
and shit.
LVRN, and thank you, London, on the track.
I'm not gonna play it because
I really
what she's
appreciate
saying
it.
is not really important. Go ahead, take it off because that's it's just distracting. But this just goes to show, the kind. She got spaghetti straps on. This is an award show. This is supposed to be like a respectful event. And this just goes to show the mentality, that men and women among our nation have. All right, and the thing about it is when these different false preachers, these different false philosophers, false teachers, when they come out, one of the things they do, they can give a little bit of history maybe, or they can give a couple facts, which is good. Maybe they have a couple of little pieces of business advice, which is also good. But a large part of knowing and understanding the truth is the rebuke. And that's kind of something that those brothers go into, man. The rebuke, somebody has to say something about it. Somebody has to speak up. We got all these issues, and not just so-called black people too, but amongst the Northern Kingdom as well. Amongst the Northern Kingdom, so-called Latino, so-called Native American. There's this thing where when you see some off shit, you really can't say anything, and as a result, now we have, this culture kind of sneaking in of pedophiles, weirdos, transsexual children. You're starting to see a lot more homosexuals. You're starting to see a lot more people who they want to be famous, based off of, their weird sexual desires or whatever weird, mental shit they've come up with. And that's not how it's supposed to be. All right, and that's not how even Esau had it, years ago. You were famous based off of, a skill. You were famous off of craft or whatever. Now this is Leviticus 20:6. All right, because this is why the scriptures ultimately say, "Suffer not a witch to live." because, we sit here in this kingdom, we know it's wicked. We know the foundations are wicked. We know the Egyptian and Babylonian influences that are upon it, based off the buildings, based off of the different spiritual things that Esau's into. All these Edomites are Masons or into some kind of witchcraft or bewilderment. And, that's kind of a normal thing. And so you're already trying to resist the demons of this society and the negative portrayal of your people. And now you actually have, because that's ultimately what a witch does. They're trying to summon those familiar spirits, those left-handed spirits, to come up and continue to infect the mind of people around them. And that's what witches did. They were keen on, because just like you have the herbs which the Most High sent to bless us, we have certain plants which they can use to make these different potions and concoctions. And just like on the righteous side, we made sacrifices to the Most High. Well, on the left-hand side, those witches, they made sacrifices unto demons, unto Molech, unto these different wicked gods. And that's ultimately what our people started to get into, that damn witchcraft, because they wanted the blessings. They didn't want to suffer. They didn't want the hardship. And that's Israel. They're always looking for an easy way out. They're always looking for that instant success, that instant fame. That's why everything in this kingdom is microwave now. And now what they're doing is, even we know the Daughters of Music are brought low. You can listen to the music and the shit that's on the radio waves, on the airwaves, rather, shall I say. And as you can hear, there's no development, there's no talent. They're just looking for something that's going to summon these spirits, to get people to want to do drugs, want to go into depression and all this weirdo stuff. And that's ultimately destroying the minds of these people. And that's why it's going to tell you, Leviticus 20:6, and the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits and after wizards to go a whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul and will cut him off from among his people. So those people are supposed to be cut off. And in this society, they're exalted. And a lot of people, what they do is they want to follow the fame. They want to follow the success. They pick that carnal path. And, back to this chick, Summer Walker, I don't know one song or anything by her at all. But here's a post, that she made. And this popped up, on my feed a while ago, but I just kind of put two and two together because I didn't know who she was. I'm not into this new shit. But as you can see, she said, I used to have such a beautiful altar, almost time to create a new one. And as you can see, she got different herbs, she got different spices. She got all these little symbols and, candles and all this other shit, crystals. And she's going to show she got an altar. She's got an altar. She actually has an altar set up in her house. And as she's serving the Most High, is she serving, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? We know absolutely not. Number one, from what she's got on and what she's wearing and, what she's got on her skin. But number two, that's not the one I wanted. Yeah, this, exactly. Let's say bath spell, witch's hazel. She got myrrh and frankincense too, but, when you're burning it and using it to pray unto these demons, then it becomes something wicked. So, here's our altar once again. It said the witch's garden, magic begins here. So these are the kind of people, and I don't know what that is, but these are the kind of people, and she got a broom right here. These are the kind of people who they're promoting to be pushed onto the youth, to be an influence unto the youth. And I looked the chick up, to see her music, to see if she has something outlandish. But she has a lot of features from major artists. So these major artists who, they're privately, probably all of them are into this same kind of stuff too. They probably have altars set up in their houses or whatever, and they do the same thing. And that's the name of the game in this kingdom. Now here's an old article. It says Carthaginians sacrificed own children, archaeologists say. It says graves holding tiny cremated bones confirm accounts dismissed as Greek or Roman black propaganda. And then they're going to go on and tell you how in Carthage, just like, in Greek and Rome, in Greece and Rome, it says they did kill their own infant children, burying them with sacrificed animals and ritual inscriptions in special cemeteries to give thanks for favors from the gods. This is something dismissed as black propaganda because in modern times people just didn't want to believe it. But you really have that. You really have that. You really have, what do you have? Planned Parenthood, where they're going in, women are getting these abortions or whatever. And then in some cases they'll tell them the child, died or the ultimate, lie, the child was never alive. And what do? They cut the child up and they're using those pieces. They're doing the experiments on them for science. And they found this. They found these places where, they're just finding random body parts. It said jumping down. And all of this stuff happened. This is Esau, he's the ultimate carnal man. He actually goes to these sites and digs up stuff and finds this stuff. And this is what they actually found. It says, this was not a common event and must have been among an elite because cremation was very expensive and so was the ritual of burial. It may even have been as seen as a philanthropic act for the good of the whole community. Yeah, exactly. Because that's how people will spin it when you have to sacrifice a child. See, we have to do this for the crops this year. We have to do this for the good of our people. And many of those Carthaginians, a lot of that was Jake. I don't know the specific number, but Jake was all through there. Because Jake was scattered not just amongst the Greco-Roman Empire, but down onto Carthage and down into Egypt and North Africa and those parts as well. It says arguments have raged on the subject since cemeteries known as Tophets, after the biblical account of a place of sacrifice, were excavated in the early 20th century on the outskirts of Carthage in modern Tunisia. Blah blah blah. These graves held tiny cremated bones carefully packed into urns, buried under tombstones, giving thanks to the gods. So all of this stuff actually happened. All of these things written, they really happened. All right, all this stuff that we read, we talk about, the scriptures we go through and people see it and, maybe it'll go in one ear, out the other. All of this stuff is really going down behind the scenes. All right, and I don't know if she was supposed to do it or, this is like part of, her coming into the industry. I don't know the 411, but hey, for people to come out and just show this kind of stuff, it just goes to show you what you have to do to get to a certain level in this kingdom and why this place has to be destroyed. This is 2 Chronicles 33:6. I'm gonna make this short. And then caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hanam. Also, he observed times and used enchantments, and that's exactly what Esau does. He observes times, Halloween, Christmas, all of these pagan times, all of these wicked times where I believe they say that the spiritual realm is open or something like that, and these are the times where they try to summon up spirits Yeah, all these things, they observe those times and they follow that stuff. Esau deals with that and use enchantments and use witchcraft, and that's exactly what he does. Through the Christmas tree. Then they sell you the hat and all of these things which were pagan rituals and pagan customs. And they're not customs that go back to our people. It's not our heritage. It's not our rest. And used witchcraft and dealt with a familiar spirit, and with wizards he wrought much evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. And when you see all these people marching up for Black Friday and all these different sales, they're not happy to be there. What are they doing? They're running over each other, stomping over each other, trying to kill each other for a fucking $300 TV. And when you go out to Esau's neighborhood, I noticed for the same holiday, for the same sales, the store is damn near empty. All right, because the ones who are stirring up those spirits is Esau. He's the top witch. Now, how do we know that? All of these other nations, they come here to America to do business. They come here and, they learn the business from Esau. They go through his little indoctrination plan. They'll go through, maybe they'll raise their kids up young, and then they'll send them off to college. They'll go through college. And then what do? Either they'll work for Esau, and then they'll take their skills back to their own country. And that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing the descendants of these other nations, go back to Britain, go back to Hong Kong and all these different countries, but they're not on the same they're not on the same of Esau here in America, so it's not working. And that's why you're ultimately seeing uproars of the people, because they're trying to use the same magic, and it's not working, because it's only one chief of wickedness. There's only one son of perdition, and that's Esau. All right, and here's the last part. It says, statue of Molech, pagan deity of child sacrifice, displayed at the Colosseum. And we already know the Colosseum's in Rome. So, these Edomites, they know. They know what it is. That's why they got this kind of stuff on display. That's why they have these things on display at these museums, and which are owned by the so-called J, the so-called Jew. These different museums and all these places you can watch things for the old world, because they go to these different countries and they dig them up and they'll pay the government, and they'll take them and bring them back. It says, I don't read Greek. I can't read that. But it says, of course, a god of death reigns in the arena, but the exculpatory didactic claim he didn't exist. Sacrifice of infants documented by both biblical and Greek sources by any other name is still infanticide. And in this kingdom, you can do that. Women, they can legally do that. They can kill the child before he even comes out. All right. And it says what? There shall not be, Deuteronomy 18:10, there shall not be found amongst you any one that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or use a divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. And that's plain. All right. Micah 5:12. He said what? I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Yeah, because that's another thing that's big in this kingdom. You got people who, that you can go see the witch doctor. You can go to the damn voodoo woman or something who could tell you your so-called future, which really, they're lying to you because they don't even know. But you can do that. All right. So, hey, witchcraft, and legally you can own that as a business. You can legally do that. It's all kind of businesses like that. Come in, we'll tell you your fortune, all of this, but ultimately in the background, this is what they're doing. They're doing this magic. They're calling and summoning demons up all around you. All right, and if you all around, this nation, you look at the the spiritual forces that be. And this is the shit people have to deal with, man. This is why people are doing drugs at an all-time high. People are killing themselves, all right? Because you have all these people who are summoning up demons, all around you. All right, hey, call Allah Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. And this is why the Lord is going to destroy all witches. He's going to destroy all witchcraft. All of these idols and shit that these people pray to, they're going to be destroyed. Hey, may Esau gather all this shit up, and may it all be destroyed here, in the mother of harlots, because once the Lord gives his men that power and they take it worldwide, we're gonna burn all this shit and destroy it anyway. So hey, Lord willing, is that a fine shalom.